Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Evolution Podcast, hosted by the Evergreen Foundation's Apothecary on Skool. I'm your host, Brandon Kramer.
And I'm Christina Joy from Chaos to Clarity Lab.
And today we decided we're going to talk about the one thing that, well, we discuss a lot in our personal lives and our business lives on this podcast, and we both own school communities. So today we're going to talk about not only school, but community. And where the hell does it fit into your business? What do you think, Christina? Let's get us rampant. Where does school fit into your business?
Well, I will say that I feel like my business is here and school is one little offshoot of it. And then there are lots of other offshoots, right? That's how I feel. And somehow that offshoot might connect to the others, but what I'm finding is that school is its own offshoot that just connects to itself, essentially. And so I still think it's super important. I still think it's super valuable, and I'm really excited about my community and where it's going. It's just not going to be a very intricate part of my business moving forward.
Did you always feel that way?
No.
Neither. I've been on school for almost 2 years. I knew the answer, but I wanted to ask it. Um, did you feel like school was, or community in a whole, um, was a bigger part of the business, or promoted itself that way, or how did you look at it?
I originally came to school because I was just looking for any platform to build a course on, but the type of course where people could interact with each other, help each other, collaborate with each other, work with each other on business issues, whatever. So that's really what I was looking for. It wasn't just really the community aspect, and I honestly didn't think that any platform would have the capability of having the level of community that is able to have and hold. Like that is something that I believe is super super unique in this on this platform, just the way it is. um so I think that it can still serve a certain purpose in a business. In my business, everybody's business is different, but in my business I believe it can still serve a certain kind of purpose. It's just not necessarily what I came here for it to serve. And not long after I got on the platform, I started to shift how I wanted to run my business, and I shifted I shifted it from my business with school as an offshoot to school, and my business ended up being an offshoot, and that was a giant mistake. I should have never done that, and that has kind of derailed everything. And
I did
it's
not want this
really
podcast to
hard.
become a school apologist episode
Yeah.
because I did the same thing, right? Like, I actually started it with a partner. We started Evergreen Evolution. I've had like, I think 5 communities now in different aspects and different realms of how long they were open, in different speeds of why they were open. Some of those reasons useless. I came into school as somebody going through a program. I bought into a program through podcaster Rob Dial. He writes his book Level Up. No promo for him at all, but like, I came to school not knowing there was anything else. I came to school wanting to be a coach, wanting to get my visibility up there, wanting to learn how to do that. He promised vanity metrics like 10K a month and stuff, the word that I first got sucked into. And now, after 4 years of being an online business entrepreneur, is in my book of I hate phrases like 10K and high ticket. And oh God, those 10K is one of those things. But I bought into that. And me and my partner Dave Layton, who started Evergreen Evolution, decided to start a school community like 8 months after we even knew there was that possibility. We thought it was just the program we were in. And then all of a sudden, my one-on-one coach in that program, shout out to Jamie Kuhlman from Magnetic Memberships. If we bash school at all today, we'll also promote a bunch of fucking school communities today. We'll just do that. Jamie Kuhlman started a school community, asked me if I wanted to be a part of it as one of her first members. I was like, this is cool. 30 seconds later, I called up Dave and said, I know what we need to do next. There's an easy button. We don't have to dance on reels and go on Instagram and create brands and create businesses and create offers and create all this stuff. We can just start a school community, because I just did it with Jamie, and I just watched a video from this guy with a cool accent named Kirby that said I can get all my people from school. So let's just do that because it'll be super freaking easy. And 2 years later, do I still think it was super freaking easy? No. Yeah, and I have a lot of disillusions about school, but at the same time, I kind of love school and why I haven't left yet. I kind of love the people I've met, the communities that happen, the way you can treat community, and how you can grow connections is how I grow connections in my organic marketing. Shout out to Jack Robinson from the schoolyard. He's the best at growing connections, and he's on this call. So today's episode is brought to you by the schoolyard and Jack Robinson. Um, you can build connections here differently than you can online, on social media, on Meta. I 100% agree with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't think community has to be your business.
No, no. And I think that, especially people who come here looking to start communities, or they have like a course, or they want to be a coach, or they want to be something, somehow they come here to like start a community. I don't think most people really understand the level of community that this is or can be. And I get that like some people might stumble into a community, maybe a handful of communities, and none of them stick, right? It takes the right ones to actually stick. And so speaking of Jack Robinson and the schoolyard, that one has a tendency to like suck you in, and then you're kind of just addicted to it, and you're like, oh my god, I got to come back. What are my friends doing? Let me get into coffee, and it was the connections that were made there that kind of launched everything else. That's how, Brandon, that's how I know you. That's how I know Jack.
That's our amazing host. Our first call ever. We both did what we're doing right now really, really fast. And we went, hey, we're really cool to talk. Like, right away, we're like, we need to talk more. And here we are, co hosts. So, I mean, that's what Skool can do. Can you find that anywhere else? Yes. But Skool does have a unique way through specific communities of doing it. I get that. What it also has a way of doing is distracting us when we're really trying to build our business. Because you know what else I did? Because all those connections were so great, I stopped paying for ads on Meta. I stopped doing organic outreach. I stopped putting out my content on YouTube and put out my communities. Come to my community, come to my community, come to my community, which nobody cares about my community. So I still needed all that other stuff that I stopped doing because I was under this illusion that all my members come from Skool. All I have to do is give away everything for free, and the people will want to hire me for high ticket prices. All I have to do is show up all day in other communities, and engagement and likes are rewarded, especially as an owner, because you get this cool little thing next to your name that gives you a ton of authority on Skool, and it's a star. And it makes you look super cool. And it means you're top 1% on your in your category, and in discovery everybody's going to find you and join your community. Sense any sarcasm there? I've had the star 4 or 5 times. Dave Layton's had the star through our community when he was owner, and I've had it in this community, my Evergreen Foundations, a couple times. And I manufactured that thing by being active as shit, doing what you see right now, talking really fast and loud and sharing everything I got for 12 to 14 hours a day.
Yeah.
And I made some money doing it, but not for what I was doing. And if I would have put the same into other things, probably would have made my business a lot better bottom line revenue. But
Well,
I
and
was
that's
so distracted.
maybe you made some money, but how much did you make based on how many hours you were putting in per day? Because I
Oh,
know,
I still owe myself. I'm still in the freaking hole.
I mean, I get what 12 to 14 hours a day looks like on Skool. Like I got you, boo. So like what was that return for you really, even in the long run? Different than if you put that, well, let me just rewind this a little bit, because if you were to put that same energy into any other social media platform, you wouldn't be able to function because it would be that soul draining. So we got to get real about that part first. You're not going to put 12 to 14 hours of time into your business anywhere else on any other platform, probably. Every
You shouldn't be taking all the actions we're talking about now anyway. Many do
well,
online, and that's probably a whole other episode.
Well, I mean, the reality is that like at least here it's a good time, and we feel rewarded for like doing stuff that's fun and we feel like, oh my God, I was so productive today. I posted like in 7 other communities, and then I had this other thing happen, and you get like really stoked, like, oh my God, I was so productive. And that ain't gonna pay your bills. So, like, maybe it does check some boxes. Maybe it makes you feel good about your situation. Maybe it does help you network. Maybe you do meet, we met each other on here. Maybe it does give you some of that, but the amount of time it takes to get it, that's what we have to question, I think. That's what we should be paying attention to. I'm not saying cut it out. I'm just saying we should watch it and figure out if that is the best use of our time.
I, I'm learning no. I'm learning that no, community and putting all of our time into it. And before we get off of the rampant calls and how much time you can put into it, uh, now I'm going to mess up the school plugins. I think it's called. It came out with the calendar where you could see every community you're in and all the events they got going on, and it was like it's a rolling feed of what's happening, all the groups.
Where?
It's called I think it's called School Plugin, and I could be wrong. I'll send it to you later. School. If either of you on this call, Brennan and Jack, can help me out here. What's the name of that app, the free one that you can get, and it shows you all the calls that people are in and stuff. This was a dynamic trap for me. I was like doing 9, 10 calls a day, hours and hours and hours of like I'd have like three in communities I was attached to and owned, and I'd be in one in Jack's and one in like all these communities and showing up to other people's, and none of that was doing anything. So yeah, if I'm doing that in Facebook groups, if anything, I'm finding that no, all those calls, all those comments, all those DMs, that's not what we should be doing as business owners. I think online entrepreneurship fooled us into thinking business was something it's not. And then community, especially the one we're on, took that to the next level of like distraction, what it actually means to run a business, and the things that make a business.
Yeah, I agree with that. I totally agree with that. Um, and it's not even just the distraction of it. It's also, like I said, at one point it's like you feel rewarded for it. So it's not just that you're distracted, but you feel like some next level, like, God, I'm really killing it, like,
You
and
do.
not. And then if you stay in that zone for too long, you find yourself 2 or 3 months down the road and you're like, wait a minute, that needle hasn't actually moved. And all I've been doing is like tweaking offers and changing my about page 750 times and, like sending a gajillion DMs to all my members and, putting out free content and putting out free stuff. Like, I'm not saying it doesn't work, but I'm saying it doesn't work for all of our businesses and it doesn't work for mine. The type of business that I have, this isn't an appropriate way to do it. I think that Skool can be a part of it, but it's not an appropriate way to like be the center of my business. And I see it now and I needed to learn it. Um, and that's just how that was. So,
And shout out to Sam Ovens and the team and to School. They are finding ways to negate the problem that was created was there was so many community owners. And yes, 90% of your members are going to come from School. But 90% of your members, and I'd go way farther than 90% of the members that you're getting are also School owners, are also trying to promote themselves, are also looking for new members, new clients, new authority, new positioning, new, you name it. They're doing the same thing as you.
you
And
know
they're
what?
in your community because they support you and they like you. So if you teach building schools, great. It's an awesome audience. But if you're anything else, you really have to do it differently. You cannot rely on the people here to come in and be your perfect people. They might love you, but they're not your clients. They're not your audience. You have to rely on bringing your audience into your community. So you have people that you're legit working with. They want your systems, they want your protocols, they want you. They want time with you. And we had an awesome call on the Tornado Power Cohort, a group that we're both in together, where we are building our communities, building our businesses with Brennan Thompson and so many others in Point Eight Collective. And Brennan had an amazing talk today about that really covered a lot of what I'm talking about right now and how we should be looking at things, how we position ourselves to bring people on these journeys of our systems, of how we coach and having time that is valuable. Have people wanting to be in the room with us of these tiers that we have and stuff because they're there to get the results that we provide. And just getting people that like are in 50 other school communities and doing what I said, jumping into 9 calls and stuff a day, you do not have my attention. 3 times in that sentence that I just said, I forgot what I was talking about. So if I'm in 50 communities, you do not have my attention. Like,
Yeah, I'm the same way. You said something that I got really excited about and I had to write it down so I'd remember. I actually forgot it, then I remembered again, then I wrote it down, and now I need to jump in and say it. So you said the thing, wait, oh crap. Oh God, it's about LinkedIn. It's about LinkedIn. Wait, just bear with me for a second. It's here. It's here. Um,
I
okay.
said, you wrote it
Oh,
down.
oh, I got it. All right. So, Brandon. Okay. So you said most of us are just school owners and we're all in each other's communities. Yeah, I'm in like 60 communities or something, a lot. And we're all in each other's communities. We're super supportive of each other. We're rooting each other on. We want to learn with each other. We want each other to grow. We found friendships here. We found like an online family here, right? But the thing is that we are all trying to get each other to buy our shit.
Yeah.
Like, come on over, Brandon. Come buy what I got, and I'm gonna come buy what you got. And Jack, I'm buying yours. You should buy mine too. Brandon, let's buy each other's thing too. And the thing is like we're not actually making any money when we're all just spending money in each other's communities. It's cool because we're all learning a lot of stuff. Neat. But what's interesting is we're all out here. If we're all trying to do our businesses just on Skool, then we are all out here in the same pool of people asking each other to hire us, right? And that is what reminds me of LinkedIn, except that LinkedIn sucks. So the difference is that like it doesn't suck all the way. It just
It's getting better.
sucks to hang out there. Like it's way better to
I've actually never gone out there.
it's way better, I think, to hang out in school. I can find myself into really cool, interesting conversations that like you don't get into in LinkedIn. I feel like LinkedIn is a lot more surface level, which is okay, and we can get into some little bit of nitty gritty, but it doesn't go like deep enough or niche enough or like weird enough or funky enough. Like there needs to be like more flair to keep my attention for a long time in LinkedIn that just doesn't exist.
Okay, well, maybe that's a question of where you spend your time and where you build your business, though.
Yeah.
Because, oh, yeah, see, because hang out might not be building your business. Maybe you need to not hang out. Maybe you need to go to the places that are like stuffy and build your business and then bring those people to the fun places. Just
Or,
saying.
well, I mean, that for sure. But the other thing is that, what I do like about Skool and how I'm starting to look at it is I do the business I do because I'm passionate about it. I care about it. I love it. I have like some quirky ways that I do it that's different than everybody else. And what I love about Skool is that I can like do a business astrology report every morning and be like, hey, this is what's happening with the moon and Jupiter right now, and Mercury's in the microwave, and things are whatever. And this is how it's probably affecting your business today in particular. And I drop that report every single morning. I also give people tools to like that include like journaling and grounding and whatnot. You're not going to see that on LinkedIn. You're not going to see that in most spaces where people are like trying to help each other with each other's businesses. So I can do this like weird, quirky stuff on Skool and drop it there, and some people are going to get into it, and it's cool, and it scratches my itch a little bit to have that, and then I can go be slightly stuffier somewhere else, to actually do the money making part of my business.
Or you could just go to LinkedIn and say everything you just said now on how you feel and see who else feels that way. And then say, hey, come put Mercury in a microwave and journal with me over here if you think this sucks here like I do. And pull the crowd.
I've actually kind of thought of that, and I was like, am I like ready to blow up that? Like, am I ready to set my LinkedIn profile on fire just yet? Or
I
should
thought
I?
about doing it here.
Well, this isn't gonna, maybe it's gonna be on LinkedIn. But bye, Jack. Thanks for
Bye, Jack.
so so yeah, it's I'm kind of thinking about getting weird on LinkedIn, doing stuff like off color. And I started to talk to my Claude AI about it, and I'm like, hey, this is what I'm thinking about doing. And it's like, that's never gonna work, the algorithm. And I'm like, you better shut up, Claude. Like, because I am thinking that this is gonna be different, and everybody else is the same. So why wouldn't I stand out? And obviously you can make Claude agree with anything you say. So it worked out for me. Um, but
I
ultimately,
probably knew you wanted to hear that. We've had enough conversations. You need to tell it, Claude, I'm going to give LinkedIn a chance. Now give me your answer.
yeah, I mean, and I, but I'll still justify it too. I'll give it reasons, like I'll do the whole thing. Like this is the paralegal in me from like years ago, like I'm giving you a case, buddy. Uh,
Yeah.
like you got the whole case now. Make a judgment. So, so tell me, Brandon, what is Evergreen Foundations all about? Why did you start it? What is it now? And like what's working and what's not? Like let's let's talk about that.
It's actually a pretty, like, I'll shorten this as much as I can, but my length of Skool, level of collaborations, and the way we went through with this community and where we are today, it's a pretty cool story, actually. Looking back at it is, like I said earlier, me and my buddy Dave Layden, we were both trying to get into coaching, online. I was doing a lot of in-person stuff. We were trying to, make it simpler and work together and collaborate. And I think both lean on each other a little bit with fears of doing it ourselves. I'll fully admit that. I'm not going to speak for him, but I'll fully admit it on my end. And it was awesome. It was fun. Like we started this community called Evergreen Evolution. We took my holistic, balanced type of like fitness and body and mindset and like continually learning and growing and helping others while you're doing it, just like living with a purpose. We took like my overall more views on all of that and then melded in Dave and Jack, not I always say Jack Frost, Robert Frost's poem, um, a road not taken, or journey not taken, or something like that. I forget the name of the poem now.
Road
Road
less.
less traveled. Yes, that one. And we talked to AI. It was like my first time working with ChatGPT, like on a deep, like prompted level ever. And I took all of my views and his views and the poem and our like views of having a movement and keeping that all natural. And the forest came up and we went with like a forest theme, called it Evergreen Evolution. We was all personal development based off of pillars of evolution, or the things I just talked about, basically living a balanced, holistic lifestyle and taking care of yourself and growing alongside others. And our personalities really stuck out, and we didn't want to be, and you're going to laugh at this, we didn't want to be salesy. So what we wanted to be was just us. We wanted to just like show up all day, do threads all day, have killer content in the classroom, like give everything we could to people. And that grew our community, our connections, our network, not our bottom line, our all sorts of things, right? Like that grew us and made our community look super legitimate. So back then, we they didn't have the tiers, they didn't have a 1099 program or 9.99 a month. It was $100 a month for a community. And to transition people into a paid program, you had to basically start another community. I actually like this structure, and a lot of people still use this structure. And so we started Evergreen Foundations, our paid group coaching experience, where we'd have live calls, we'd coach on the spot, hot seats, all kinds of stuff. We had like 9 members, 8 of them free. And but what we did there was actually build a coaching program. Like I became a group coach doing that because I learned like how to show up with group coaching. I was only one on one. with people that like a small group of intimate people. Shout out Becca Martin. She's on this call. I seen that. She was one of our first paying client in that community. We ran it for a few months. It was pretty great, but we never grew it. We didn't have the systems. We were avoiding being salesy. It's another call we should talk about someday. Um, we were doing all these things that were not growing it, but inside it was really growing. We were really getting results. We were really connecting with others. We wanted to make it super collaborative. So we had this vision of we're going to have like 10 coaches on the team and we all share this lead pool and we're like cross pollinated and people can have, you have a community and I have a community and we all work together. And a really close now partner of mine at the time, I wanted to prove wrong because he said, cross pollination doesn't work. Prove me wrong. I'm Brandon Tornado freaking DeKramer. I was going to prove him wrong. I did not. Shout out Brendan Thompson, Point A Collective. I did not. I honestly now the whole myth of cross pollination, working together, collaborating, you can network, you can work up with people, you can team on projects. But running communities when everybody has different interests, everybody has different goals, and they're trying to make it one. And then not only that, you're trying to have a buffet with 8 people eating at the buffet, clients, and there's no food. So you're trying to feed 8 people composed to one. And I think that really disillusions people here in Skool. I see it happen a lot. I wish everybody the best. If you're watching this, you're like, you know what? Brandon tried to prove Brennan wrong and couldn't. I'm going to prove Brandon's ass wrong. And we're going to build a team of 5 connected communities and grow them as one business. I hope it works. But it didn't for us. And we had a lot of amazing partners. Dinka Salvador from Trinity Code on Substack, Dave Layden, Ilanda Silkas, Dr. Melissa Parteka, so many people that came in, Val Vosberg, that came in and really, we all had really good visions to make this community something where we were all teaching. And it just never worked because we're all trying to do it. And nobody, in my opinion, was trying to really dial in, okay, what does this community mean? What does it offer? What does it stand for? What are the onboarding systems? How does it work as a business? Nobody ever really did that. We all went, how does it work as a lead magnet? How does it work as a place to host events and have amazing things going on and have a ton of fun? One thing that I take pride in is people would come in Evergreen Evolution, and then we changed it when we closed down our paid community to cap that story, freaking squirrel. When we closed that community, and morphed it into one and kept the Evergreen Foundation's name and dropped Evolution, we we really like had a lot of fun. We had mini summits, we had live guests, I had 30 guests in a row one time in January. Like it was a blast. And Ilanda Silka said it the best from the Flame Keepers here on Skool. He said, I have no idea what this community is about, but I freaking love it. And that's what we were. Like nobody knew what we were. So we finally had to go, hey, let's go all build our own things. Let's support each other, network. I'm partnered up with Brennan. We're doing the cohorts in point eight. I always promote people on everything. You know me, I've said 20 people's names on their Skool communities on this episode. But to run the actual business side of this community, it was just never going to work. Somebody had to, and I don't know if it will yet, somebody had to go, okay, this is what this community means. So that's why I'm a holistic wellness coach. So I've been doing for 4 years. I work with businesses, but we're already doing that in point eight. What do I do here? I wanted to keep the name. Allie said, keep the name, keep the forest theme. And we changed it into the apothecary. It's where I'm going to talk about health, wellness, longevity, taking your health to a place that maybe you haven't been and getting away from the doctors, getting into whole clean food. We're huge foragers and gardeners, and we're going to make it a space where it's $25 a month right now to come in. You come into to this place, you're going to be able to learn how to live holistically. And a lot online and videos and time with holistic wellness coaches is expensive. So I wanted to make it something that people could come at a low ticket price where anybody could really afford it to learn holistic wellness. And we're going to stick with that. I'm going to see how it works. I'm going to see how it runs. Growth Boost, which we haven't talked about yet, really highlights paid communities. And another thing, everything we've talked about, everything we've been saying about distractions and people, I really love every member I have, but those members that need to feel better and to get healthy and to, I feel like they need to invest in themselves, even if it's $1 a month. I feel like investing in yourselves and coming into a community, you're going to be way more invested in that community. And I will shut up with that. You can respond. Then I'll ask you about your community.
Well, that's actually an interesting thing. What you said at the end is that people need to invest in something. And I'll go a little bit into detail about that. It doesn't really have to do with school, and it has everything to do with school. But my story has to do with international development work. Um, One of the things that we learned, and I can't tell you how many case studies we studied about this. Like there were a lot. We read a lot of case studies on it, and and then we experienced it some too. Um, in this master's program that I was in, they were basically training us to be able to work anywhere else in the world. It didn't have to be our own countries, but work on development issues. And what that means is extreme poverty. It means public health. It means like corruption. It means education. It means so many things. There's so many areas that people from my cohort, we all worked in like vast, industries. But anyway, the point is this, no matter what industry it was in, I say industry, it's like areas, really. It's not really industries, but areas. Whatever area we worked in, the thing that was always true was this. Whenever we worked with communities directly, um, like say that we were working on a Gates Foundation project in Tanzania. All right. Um, and you know, there's one that comes to mind. Malaria and mosquito nets, because they are big providers of that sort of thing. They save a lot of people's lives. Honestly, like a lot of lives are saved because of the work that foundation does, whether you like it or not, but it's true. And so say that you're working in one of those programs. You don't just show up with a bunch of free stuff and like hand it out to everybody. Even if these people are extremely poor, they have nothing left. They have nothing to truly pay you with. There has to be some sort of investment on their end for them to adopt something. Doesn't matter who you are, as a human being in general. There has to be some level of investment. Now, I mean, obviously, you know, I've seen this not be true, right? I've seen somebody really take something that's like given to them for free and like go with it. But generally speaking, when you talk about masses of people, giving it out for free is not going to reach the level of like adoption that you want people to reach in order to make a true transformation or change in their life or go to the next level. And so the story is about mosquito nets, and it was basically like there were these projects, they were handing mosquito nets out to like everybody that lived in certain communities, and then some of the communities they were making them pay like it's not like these, USAID or Gates Foundation, they don't need money coming in from these people, but they were collecting a little bit in certain other communities and they wanted to test what would happen. And the reality is that the communities that had to pay, even if it was just a little bit of money, or they had to exchange something time-wise, or there was some sort of give and take there in order to receive these services, they by far implemented the program so much more and had so many more wins from it than the other ones who were just given the mosquito nets. And that has been seen over and over again in many capacities. And so I'm starting to think when I still have a free community, everything's free. But in my mind, I'm like, I know this lesson already. Like, I already know this lesson. I already know that if somebody's paying for something, they're more likely to show up to it. They're more likely to be there. They're more likely to like do the steps and do the thing and adopt the thing, right? And so even if they pay a little bit of money and they see that coming out every month, they're more likely to show up. If you have a free community, right now I have 109 people in my community. I probably have like, I mean, stats say I have 25 or so people showing up to my community every day. I don't know where they are. They're not commenting. They're not liking, but apparently they're showing up. They at least are present there every day. Um, but I bet if,
All that means is they're present, they're online. You
yeah,
don't even know, you don't
no,
even know if they're actually coming into your community.
well, no, the statistic I'm looking at is for that. It actually, it's like they come into your community. Like you can look at that on a daily or you can look at that on a monthly. And so on the daily, according to what Skool's telling us, I have like 25 people coming into my community every day and have for a while. Now, that means that I got a bunch of lurkers maybe. I don't know. That means when people turn on, like whenever they pop into Skool, it automatically they're just in my community, not that they didn't navigate there maybe. There might be some other reasons. Um, but they're not involved. And my guess is that if people were made to pay even a little bit of money, they're going to make it a point to be involved in the thing. They're going to show up to the thing.
Well, and not only that is at some level, especially a lot of the levels that our communities and many people listening, if they have communities or are at, is we have to like vet and go get those members. Like mostly, and that vetting can be an ad, right? Like it can be an ad that you really describe the type of person you look for. But I feel you're going to get better members if you are the one outside of just waiting for somebody to click a link. You go meet that person, know that person, whether it's in DMs, they're watching long form content of you, however they get there, and then decide to purchase. I feel you really want someone to make that decision based on wanting to be in there and not just, oh, this is free. It looks really cool. I'm going to come and just like sit and watch all this for a while. You actually have somebody that's making a decision whether you talk to them prior or again they had ad videos or whatever it may be to get to you. And that's to me, you're going to get better members that are actually going to go through your systems.
Yeah, I agree with that. I totally do. Right now, I mean, right now mine's free because I don't have a course. I don't really have a system. I have things there for people in the classroom, but it's not what I've conceptualized and what I'm working through myself right now in order to build the thing, you know? Um, and so I don't really feel like I should be charging right now because everything that I'm putting in there, I'm also uploading to YouTube for free. Like it's all out there because I'm
Did
just
you
trying.
not listen to the conversation we just had a little while ago?
I
Put the
know,
same.
like I literally heard it too. Like but this is the Gemini in me. Um,
Yeah,
I can be both things at one time. They can both be true, right?
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
heck. Um, so I don't know where I was going with that. It's gone.
We have one of those every episode. Um,
Yeah.
what if there's somebody like thinking like they obviously maybe they didn't even know what Skool was, and they're like listening to this or whatever, and they go to the will go to the website. What what's the good, the bad, and the ugly since you've been on this platform as a business owner about Skool? Start with the good.
Okay. So the good, I love the community aspect of Skool. Love it. Love that people come to Skool because they're curious, they want to learn something, and for the most part, they're a little bit weird. Like they're not they're not surface level. Like they truly are a little bit different, I mean, we're all a little bit different, but the people who I've met on Skool in particular, like, know they are, you know, like they own it. They're like, yeah, I don't feel like I fit in everywhere, but this place just feels good. And I don't know how many people I've met on this platform who like kind of share that feeling about it. And I'm not sure what the name of that is. I'm not even sure how to put my finger on it all the way, but that is something that I love about here. And I also love the level of support. I say that with like a little bit of that going on because I believe that we support each other in our growth. I believe that we support each other in our learning in a lot of ways. I don't believe that that happens in every community from like community owner down. I do believe that there are a lot of community owners who are maybe they're involved in their communities, but they're so out of touch. They're so out of touch with what's actually happening in their communities. They're not actually a community member. They're just a community owner, and that's a very different thing than the member experience. And some of that bothers me. Like, be in your community if you have a community. Don't just like hail over it like a god. And so there's a little bit of that that bugs me, but for the most part, like us members poking around in each other's, like I feel like we do a really good job of like patting each other on the back, of helping to support each other, celebrating our wins, and helping each other learn things to like fill the gaps that we each have in our processes. So I love all that, right? So that's the good. Um, I think that it's hard to just talk about the bad. And the bad and the ugly, to me, all that's the same, but it's a distraction. It's totally a distraction. And we have to put it in the category of that. There are only a few types of school communities that are actually making a lot of money, in my opinion, without getting kind of lucky, right? Um, and those are the school communities that are built around building school communities. It's the school communities that teach you how to start another community. And the way, especially that they're making money, is that every single community that they help to start, they get affiliate money on the background for every one of those
Yeah.
forever. So if everybody that they start communities for is paying $100 a month, they're getting 40% of that from school for 100 people, right? Like every month, like if they get 100. So that's one way to look at it. And I think um that's a win if that's the business you're in on school. But if you're not doing that on school, it's whatever. Doesn't matter. That's school's money. The other thing that I don't really appreciate right now is how much money it's starting to cost to have a community on school. And by that, I mean, if you're paying for the $99 plan, it really is worth it in a lot of ways to have it because of the plugins and whatnot, and the way you can track things, and it gives you more of that. Um, so so you're paying for that. The fees aren't bad for like money processing, especially because you can have somebody from anywhere in the world, and you don't have to deal with all of that mess, that uh currency issue, so that's a beautiful thing. But, you know, 10%'s a big chunk if you're paying $9 for the hobby plan. 10%'s a giant chunk of that. Plus, if you're paying any referral fees, or not referral, but affiliate fees, that can really start to add up. So maybe you have a course that you're selling, and 50% of that is just gone right then because you have an affiliate link and you have 10% more that you're paying out in fees. And then, so I think that
Well, you can't do the affiliate link if you have the 999 plan.
no, you have to have the $99 plan.
Yeah.
So then that would mean then you're only paying 3%. So yeah, I'll backpedal on that one a little bit. Um,
I
but
know what you're trying to steer clear of talking about though.
the other,
Is the growth boost.
the
They're
growth,
putting ads. I'm not afraid of anybody. They're
well,
putting ads out, and I know you're not either, but they're putting ads out for all of us, for all the communities on Meta. And if anybody comes from Meta, Skool is going to take 30%, and that's called growth boost. How do you
that's,
feel about that?
yeah, that's not even what happens. Because they're not just taking from that. Right now, they're taking from any single person who is on the Skool platform who joins your community. Unless in particular, send them a direct link. And as soon as you send that link, they click on it and go right to your community and join it. Otherwise, or somebody else sends them that link. But otherwise, if they start to poke around and they're doing whatever, Skool's going to get credit for that. And that means that Skool gets 30%. And that's a problem for me because most of the people who join my community, it's because of the hours and hours and hours and hours and hours I have spent in other communities. Love
But
people.
I have a little different views on this now. I was kind of in the same camp as you. I was like, well, what the hell? I was kind of looking at it. A lot of us did. There's a lot of talk about this when it came out around owners. But do you know since then how many members I've gotten that are attached to Skool as affiliates? Because I'm actually everything I explained earlier. Now I'm inviting people to my community, people that I'm on discovery calls with, people that it's my downsell, being 100% honest. It's so I bring people there. I have had zero people affiliated to Skool come into my community because I'm doing an email. I'm emailing them access, and they're coming in because they're talking to me
I've
and
had
because I'm making the sale personally.
I've had multiple people join my school who met me in another community. And Skool, if I started charging them, if they bought something in mine, Skool would get 30%, multiple of them. And that's the only people who have joined because they've seen me in another community. They click on my profile to find my community. That's the one big complaint that I have about this whole thing is that I'm doing the work in the communities, posting. I'm doing what they told us to do. Go in other communities, network, post, do this, do that. I'm doing exactly that. And you know what it gets me is they are still going to get 30% of those too. You want to send me off platform people? Oh, heck yeah. I'd love to give you 30% of my money for that. Like, heck yeah, do that work for me. But do not take the way that I have learned to like get my members. Almost all of my members came from my interactions in other communities. And almost all of those people, if you look at the actual statistics and where they came from, almost all of those people would now be contributed to attributed to Skool Network. And that's where I pumped the brakes and I was like, that is theft. That is wrong. That is some other level. All the rest of it, I'm totally fine with. But that one, that is the one that kills it for me because and it's the antithesis of what they were pushing from the beginning.
Can I play devil's advocate?
Yeah.
So Brennan is turning me into a contrarian. What the hell is happening? Um, no, I'm seeing this differently. If you're relying on Skool to do your marketing, and even if it's you're in Skool, yes, I get it. You're going to other communities, you're talking
But
to
my
people.
own marketing in Skool. Like I'm not relying on Skool to do any of that.
Well, I'm not saying you are, but some people, like if you're relying on Skool for your members, shouldn't Skool get a cut?
Aren't they already getting a cut for my $99? And aren't they already getting a cut when people pay for my programs? Like, aren't they already getting a cut of all of that? Like, so, and
Every
that
other platform does too, though.
I'm stoked to pay them that. That's what I signed up for on here. I signed up to pay for the thing I signed up to pay for. And to change the game 6 months in, that's where I'm not okay with this. That's where I'm like, I invested 6 months of my time building my community with people who would be interactive, who were the people who I wanted. I spent that time for a reason. And now I'm like, all that time that I spent to do that part of it, even if I'm not monetized yet, because I don't have my course up yet. I get that. But all that time that I spent to do that, I'm like, now that's not how we're supposed to do this anymore. Heck yeah, they want, like I said, they want to send me people from everywhere. Heck yeah. If I've never had a communication with that person in another community and they didn't join because of that other community and their interaction with me there, as long as it didn't come from that, heck yeah, I'll pay Skool whatever the hell you want if you're advertising for me. But when it comes to how we were taught to network and go into communities and spend all that time, and now you're still going to get 30%. Brandon, you joining my community, you would be pay. I mean, like if this was now, the way you join my community was clicking on my profile and going to my community. Probably 80%, I'm sure of that. And so does everybody else on this platform. And that is not okay to me. If they find me in Discovery, maybe I'm okay with that. If they find me on Facebook or they find that out on Facebook, cool. But them finding me in a community, building a relationship with me in my community or outside of my community, and then deciding, you know what, I would love to be in her community. Like that would be great. And then clicking on my profile to come to my community, like that's not Skool giving me that. I already pay to be on the platform. I'm already here on the platform. I already pay to have my community. I'm already paying to do that. I'm paying to be in communities, some of them. The reality is like I shouldn't have to pay that again. And it shouldn't be taxed like that because that's what it is. It's a tax and I don't like it. That's the only thing that really gets me in the side on this. And it's sneaky. And a lot of people who get like most of they're going to realize in the next month or two, like, wait a minute. Like, you mean all of those people? Like, if I'm in other communities and I'm getting these people, like all of those people, school gets paid for them too? Like, it just changes the game. It changes what we're supposed to be doing on here. It changes how we're supposed to operate. And I don't like that because what I signed up for 6 months was not this. And this might have changed my mind about it. If I realized there was going to be an additional 30% tax on people who meet me in another community to join my community. Okay. Sorry.
Oh, I love this. This is what I've heard. This is
I
awesome.
just had to
It's like my
laugh.
favorite episode yet. No, so I'm gonna piggyback and segue right into quick as we're ending this into
Oh,
my good, bad, and ugly off of everything you said. The good, Chaos Clarity Lab, Evergreen Foundations Apothecary, and Point Eight Collective. The bad, thinking that business owners need to be members of a community all day, or if that's sustainable. And the people and them teaching us that, not teaching, but that being the culture that that's going to sustain and that's going to work. It's a dangerous game. And the ugly is teaching people that all of their ideal members are going to come from school. And unlearning that one has now made me where growth boost is insignificant to me. I don't care. I think that if you give me a few members and they come up to my programs or any of my like $500, $3,500 things that I'm going to sell in there, and I give you 30%, and I didn't rely on you to do that, and I wasn't relying on just school, and it happens and it's like a one off, great. I'll give you 30%, 100%. But if I'm only relying in communities for my people and they're taking every sale, I think that's on me. And I think I need to have outside traffic sources coming into my community so I don't even give school the chance to tax me. Everybody that comes into my community, 80, 75, 80%, they're coming from me. So the 25% that school might give me and then gives me an awesome person to work with, and I'll give them 30%, I think. I'm okay with it. I think that's where I landed after 2 weeks of all over the spectrum on it, to be honest.
yeah, I hear that. Yeah, I'm all for exactly what you said. I'm totally all for school giving me people. I love it. I'm really glad that they implemented it. That's the only thing that I have the problem with is the profile clicks because that doesn't count. That does not count in my and that's how the majority of my people came in. With the majority of my 109, I'm willing to say that 85 of my 109 came from clicking on my profile and joining my profile that way, which would mean that all of those people from today on would be people that I'd owe school 30% on, and that is what I have a problem with. That's the only one. That's the only one.
YouTube, go, Kate, let's prove Christina what I'm talking about. Join the Chaos Clarity Lab. Join Christina. If you've been watching our episodes, following along, and you think she's awesome, just join her up and show that we can get members from outside sources. Prove me right, please, YouTube. I'm begging you.
No, I'm
Um,
with you. We totally can. And yes, you could totally join my community. Absolutely. It's free, turns out.
Oh, well, I absolutely love when we just kind of go off on tears and we kind of have plans sometimes and then they go bonkers different directions. And I think that's what I love about the Evolution podcast. Um, I hope everybody has an awesome 4th of July. It's also a special in my household. My son's turning 15. Happy 4th of July birthday. We can no longer give him parades and fireworks for his birthday and have it believable. So we're going to have to do something else this year. You do anything for the holidays?
I mean, I'm just chilling. I'm on a sheep farm at the moment, and I'm just gonna like live out my sheep farm life here over the weekend. Probably won't see any fireworks from here, and that's okay this year.
Hey, sometimes we just need to slow down and quiet down a bit. Maybe you'll find some answers in that piece over the holiday weekend. I know that happens to me sometimes.
I would love.
Um, well, until next time, this has been brought to you by the Schoolyard and Jack Robinson. And this is the Evolution Podcast. I am Brandon Kramer from the Evergreen Foundation's Apothecary.
And I'm Christina Joy from Chaos to Clarity Lab.
And if you guys think we need to have a part two about talking about community in school, drop in the comments.
Yeah. Here for it.